Well, it's getting windy outside, but I'm home now anyway from my trip to Uppsala, my yearly tour to Uppsala, to buy some records. I only went to one store this time, but I was quite lucky with the things I found there, so there wasn't much money for any other visits. So I have to say, I've been very inspired by the YouTube vinyl community lately, even more so since we started hanging out on Facebook as well. It's meant quite a lot of me. I got many new ideas on interesting records to look up, and it's been very inspirational. It's very inspiring, and I'm going to show you some examples of that now. Well, maybe not this one, but still, it's interesting. Jimmy Campbell, Half Baked. It's on Vertigo, and yes, it's the right Vertigo label, the one we want. Yeah, well, this one that I got the idea to get Pantarei, The Naked Truth, from Jonas, of course, Sublime Media. I would probably never have bought this record. I probably wouldn't have noticed it. Well, maybe the sleeve, but I found the reissue issued by Mellotronen, and I look forward to listening to this now. I've been really curious on this album since Jonas started talking about it. Right. Slowly but surely improving my Genesis collection. Here's their live album on Charisma. It's a budget issue with this Success, which I think was either a Dutch or a German reissue series. It's Dutch. I've seen Philips releases with this Success series edition on the sleeve. Music from the Penguin Cafe, performed by members of the Penguin Cafe Orchestra. Their first album. I started trying to find their albums lately. I found one of them a month ago or so, but now I found their first one. I think this is their first one. I haven't checked yet. All right. This is an interesting compilation, The Buskers, and it's. If you recognize this guy here on the, let's try to focus. All right. Well, okay, don't focus then. It's a Columbia issue from 1969 with recordings of different buskers, among them Don Partridge, who is I like his music a lot, and he's been so influential on busking in Sweden. And there's also a Lex Partridge, because busking was more or less forbidden until Partridge started playing out in the streets. So there's a law that has got its name from Don Partridge. Sometimes we praise him for this law, sometimes we curse him, depending on how good or bad the busking is. Anyway, I thought this was an interesting compilation album with different buskers, and I look forward to listen to that later. Right, two comedy LPs in the Pardon My Blooper series, collected by Kermit Schaefer. It's on the Jubilee label. It's volume 5 and volume 2. Alright, some Swedish music. Blonde, or Tages, as they were called earlier. This is the American issue on Fontana, which is much easier to find than the European Swedish issue that had a different sleeve. Anyway, I didn't have this before, but I got a CD version, but I think the songs on this album, the recordings, are very good. Especially, let's see now, the Lilac Years. It's a true masterpiece. Right. Some Dutch music then. Trace, led by Rick van der Linden, and also with Pierre van der Linden, who played with Focus in the beginning. I've collected more or less most of the Exceptional albums, so I thought I'd look out for the Trace albums as well. And now I've found, I think this is the first one from 1974 on Philips. Alright, let's see now. Yeah, 2 albums with Swedish fusion jazz bass player Mats Nilsson and his group Håkon Flight. Wind from the Sea and Bermuda Triangle. I admire Mats Nilsson very much. He was the first Swedish bass player that I noticed. He was a lot on Swedish television in mainly the 1980s. These are from the late 80s and early 90s. Yeah, Isildurs bane. Well, this is of course been inspired by Jonas here as well. I wouldn't have bought this. I don't think I would have noticed this either. So, lots of inspiration there. Oh yeah, Tomita pictures at an exhibition. This is a quadradisc for channel issue, and of course this has also been inspired by watching videos in the YouTube vinyl community. I hadn't heard about Tomita until a couple of months ago, but now I started looking for them, and this is one of those who is really worth having. So I got it now, and it was dead cheap. Oh, this is a classic, of course. I'm starting to get the best issues of Led Zeppelin. This is number 2, of course, on Atlantic. Not sure what kind of pressing it might be. It's not sure. Anyway, it looks good, so I look forward to listening to this masterpiece later. And finally, the 2 original Bonzo Dog Band albums that I didn't have. The last one, the Contractual Obligation album, Let's Make Up and Be Friendly. This is the United Artists edition. And then we have this one, Tadpoles, on Imperial. This is missing an insert. There's an insert here. Supposed to be an insert, but that's missing. But it's good to have until later. Well, that's it. It was a nice day in Uppsala. I had fun, and now I'm home again, preparing to have some more fun listening to these and enjoying them. Bye bye.